One of the things about this issue, this is one of the reasons why Arizona was covered under the Voting Rights Act. And, in June of 2013, they struck down a key component of the Voting Rights Act, Section 5. Once they did that, we started seeing states that were previously under that coverage pull things like that. Now, Arizona is an outlier because they've been doing this. I think Arizona is kind of taken voter disenfranchisement and suppression. It's an art form out there. So I'm not really kind of shocked about this, but if you're in Arizona, you're listening to this, if you were in line, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is stay your behind in that line. If you can camp overnight on Black Friday to buy something, or during the Thanksgiving holiday, if you can wait for an iPhone, if you can wait for the new Jordans, you can wait a couple of hours to vote. It shouldn't be that way, but that's what they want you to do. They want you to go home. Provisional ballots, people need to understand that provisional ballots, while they allow you to vote, provisional ballots, and the problem is that there is no uniform um, policy through the 50 states for provisional ballots. So each state does it different. But basically, provisional ballots allow you to vote. They're usually given, like, if your name is not showing up on the voting rolls, or there's, just a slight problem, something that can be rectified. So it will allow you to vote. But, and I'm speaking of what I know in terms of Georgia, how they operate. Those provisional ballots they are counted last because you have 2 days to prove whatever the problem is. Maybe your address changed, or your name changed, or there's some irregularity. You have to provide proof to the Board of Elections within a certain time frame in order for your vote to be considered valid. Then it has to be counted. By that time, by the time all of those are counted, they've usually called the election for another candidate. And it is very, very problematic. A lot of people don't do the follow-up. If you don't do the follow-up that's needed to make your ballot count, they throw it out. People don't know that. They think they do a provisional ballot and they voted, and they haven't. And so this is one of the methods that are used to actually uh, disenfranchise voters. And so if people are concerned about this, you need to know about the Voting Rights Act. There are two bills. There's one in the House, there's one in the Senate that is just sitting in Congress because it needs a push to get it passed. And so, part of activism is knowing how to connect your issue to what's going legislatively, because chances are there's one existing out there that needs force behind it, or one has to be designed. Um, but, working with lawmakers and those in the legal field, you can help do that. There's also a great resource out there, alice.org. That is like the progressives form of ALEC. If you don't know about it, get in it, because it's got sample legislation that on from a progressive side. But this is just one of the problems that we see every time. And the one of the things that can help prevent this, do not wait till election day to check your status. Now, some of these can't be avoided, like they play the whack-a-mole with moving the precincts. We saw that done here on election day. But keeping on top of your information, making sure that your changes are done. I can't tell you how many times we tell people, if you've moved or changed your name, you need to register to vote by this day. And people don't listen, and then they call on election day and say, I can't vote. And it's like, you feel really bad. And there's also a great organization that people need to know. When you go vote, you memorize this number, 1-866-OUR-VOTE, election protection. I have volunteered with them almost every election cycle going back to, I believe, 2004. What they do, and they protect and defend the vote 365. And they need these type of reports because this is part of the Lawyers Committee. It's a consortium of legal minds and organizations. They take these reports because the problem is, when there are hearings and stuff, they need examples of this type of thing. We can't, just the GOP will say, well, we're going to bring these laws because of voter fraud, and there are no instances of actual voter fraud. Conversely, when progressive groups or groups on the left go to argue this has happened in this county or in this precinct, the first thing they go is, where's your proof? If people don't report these and give us a database in order to work off of, they're going to bring the same argument that we bring when the GOP or the right wing tries to bring about these laws that suppress the vote. So it's very important to let someone know and to have these documented. Election Protection is one of the best groups that do that. So it, but you get used to seeing this, and it's sad that we have this, but I mean, it's just one of the ways where our voting systems and our voting processes, they are a hot mess.
Hmm.
So I mean, but it's really sad, and but people need to hold the line. um Getting out there and voting. If look, stop and get some takeout before you go. Do what you have. Bring some lawn chairs. Make it fun. I mean, I waited for in 2008. I waited, and this was early voting. It took me 4.5 hours to vote. I had my smartphone. I had books. And it was like a party atmosphere. I mean, we do it big here in Atlanta. They had barbecue. They were selling T-shirts. I mean, the Obama campaign was like a cottage industry. But I mean, if this really means something to you, don't saying that I didn't vote because I didn't feel like waiting online. Mm-mm. We are not
Yeah.
going to have a revolution like that, people.
Hmm. No, definitely, definitely. Just want to again just thank everyone who's hanging in there with us in the chat room tonight. Shout out to everybody over there on Spreaker. Again, if the number of you want to ask a question, you want to talk to me, Nisi, Stacy, we got Yamina in Arizona, 857-600-0518. You can also hit us up on Twitter at the BPD show, or you can hit me up, Miss Nono ESQ, hashtag Progressive Army. So yeah, so we're still waiting to get results in. I mean, again, with the time difference and then all the stuff that's going on, I know, again, you heard you mean to just discuss some of the issues going on in Arizona right now. In Utah, we're hearing they're running out of ballots at some of the caucus sites. I mean, the turnout it seems like they should have just like extra things printed as backup, just to double check. But I just want to clarify that the online, see, I got excited. That Twitter sometimes. I got
No,
excited. The online voting is GOP only. So the GOP once again is ahead of us. The GOP is actually offering online voting, but apparently, it has been causing problems and stuff. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone again, everyone who's been coming in and out. Like I said, I know there's a lot going on.